Pandora. Let me tell you one thing about it. It's absolutely delicious. Please welcome back to the show the woman I waited 5 hours outside of Brentano's for, Anne Rice.
I'm fine, man. I'm absolutely great. And I know I'm not supposed to bring you stuff, but of course I brought you stuff. I brought you 2 T-shirts that have pictures of my brain on them. I just want you to be sure.
Pictures of your brain!
Pictures of my brain. Pictures of my brain. This is the most gruesome shot of my brain.
Let me see
the gruesome. The eyes. See the eyes.
Oh yeah. Now, Anne, can I just ask?
Yes, you can.
Why do you have T-shirts of your brain? Not that your brain shouldn't be studied, because I have to say it's an amazing brain to write these books that I adore.
Well, it seems like every March or so, I get sort of depressed and down, and I begin to get headaches, and I begin to worry about things, and I write very, very well. All that goes very well. But then sometime around June, I start saying I should have an MRI. Something should be checked. Yeah. And my doctors, they're very, very kind, and they say, Anne, your brain is really fine, but if you want a picture of your brain, I'm going to take a picture of your brain. So when I got these pictures of my brain, I thought, well, why waste this?
Sure.
Why don't we do a T-shirt?
Oh, yeah.
My brain,
Mass market, the MRI shirt, of course. I can't tell you how many times I'm at Macy's and somebody asks one of the people where, do you have any MRI brain T-shirts? These are going to be big sellers, Anne. QVC, maybe? Home shopping? Now let me ask you, why do you only get depressed in March?
I don't know. It's a seasonal thing. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is it's good for writing. No matter what happens with writing, I can write depressed, I can write sort of manic, I can write happy, I can write calm. So fortunately, I'm very blessed in that regard. But I figured out just by looking back through my diaries that it's usually March, and I don't know the reason. Maybe something blooms, some kind of pollen, something comes out.
You think it's like an allergic reaction?
Yeah, it could very, very well be.
It's not like you get depressed, something traumatic happened in that month.
No, I don't think anything like that happens. But in any event, 2 years in a row I've done this with my brain. Now the 1997 shirt isn't out yet.
Well, it's a collector's edition, so there's going to be one a year. And I'm having mine framed. Do you think I'm not? I'm going to have them framed. Years from now, people are going to say, do you have the Anne Rice brain shirt? Not only do I have them, they're hanging in my living room. Now, let me ask you, were you depressed or in a happy mood when you wrote this, Pandora?
Actually, what was I? Let me think about it. Now, I was actually in a depressed mood, but you'd never know it.
You weren't
This book actually got me out of my March depression. I wrote this last March, and I was deeply in the depression, and when I sort of got into Pandora and got to be Pandora,
right,
who, as you know, is a 2,000-year-old woman and a very plucky woman, very strong woman, I worked my way out of it, which is really neat. I mean, that's the great thing about being a writer, that you can write your way out of these moods, you can write your way out of these funks, you know.
It's very helpful to have art to help yourselves express and get out.
Yeah.
Now, how long does it take to write a novel like this?
Well, Pandora involves a lot of research into ancient Rome. Everything that happens to that lady is real. Like if she says she ran in, well, she isn't real. I mean, they weren't well, who knows? There weren't vampires running around ancient Rome. But if she talks about Augustus Caesar, or she talks about Germanicus, or she talks about, some event that happened in Rome, that's accurate.
Right.
And I had books piled all over my office. I had so many books, I was stumbling around in stacks of books on Rome. So that took a long time. But when it comes to the actual writing, I'd say 4 weeks.
4 weeks to write a whole book?
Yeah, 4
My
weeks.
goodness.
But I go storming at the computer, and I write for 12 hours a day, and people at home are very, very tolerant. I just live off hamburgers, fast food junk, stuff like that. They deliver it to the door.
Give me a high five.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, right.
What would we do with that?
I called you when I finished this book. I was on vacation.
Yes.
I called you. It is so great. I loved
it. That was such a wonderful call when you called. I was so thrilled.
Well, I'm so happy when you have a new book out. I've read every book that, as you know, and I love them all. Not only are they entertaining, they're educational, like about the castrati in Italy and all the things that you learn. And I learned about Rome in this book.
Oh, thank you very much.
You know my favorite quote in the book?
What is it?
I hope it's exact enough for you, but it was, naked or clothed, he moved with a dignity that only comes from having been cherished.
Oh, yeah, I know that line.
That really got me.
I like that line.
Because I think that's what you want to give your children. You want to cherish your children so that when they're adults, they can move with grace and dignity in the world.
Oh, I love that, Rosie. I love that. She says that, Pandora says that about Flavius, this Greek slave that she's just bought, who really is going to have to be the man of the house for her.
Right.
And she had to, she's on her own, she's independent, she knows she's got to make a household and she's got to appear to be respectable, respectable, so she goes out and she buys this Greek slave who's very, very smart, and she makes that remark about him.
Because he had an ivory leg.
Yeah, he has an ivory leg.
Now, are you going to have a book about him, Flavius? Because he's an interesting character.
I left it wide open. The more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. If somebody had told me 20 years ago when I did Interview with the Vampire, you know, you'll still be writing about these characters, there'll still be new ones 20 years from now, I don't think I would have believed it, but they've become for me like an enormous family. They've become for me, it's gone way, way past one idea of what's it like to be a vampire, what's it like to drink blood. It's all different personalities and different characters and how they use immortality, how they relate to each other, how the adventures they have in time.
Well, they feel like my friends, and when the book's over, I'm sad. I'm like, oh, I hope that he gets his own book next, you know? I do, I get like that. I'm like, weird. And then you know what will happen? I remember I was on vacation in Miami, and I'm driving around, and I'm going, oh, geez, when is Flavius going to be able to... It's not my friend, it's a book. I wanted to call him on the phone. I got to phone Pandora about that whole thing with the slaves. Wait a minute, it's fiction. I lose my mind. Now, is there going to be another movie with Tommy, can you hear me? My Tommy. You know, we had a little of a disagreement about that, Anne. It was hard for me when you were coming out publicly saying you didn't think that he maybe should have been.
Well, I think Tom Cruise was so good in Interview with the Vampire.
Thank you,
I think he was so very, very good.
Thank you very much.
As a matter of fact, you know, the movie is still constantly being shown on cable.
Of course it is.
And I have this traumatic thing of walking into the room and suddenly seeing Tom, you know, being stabbed to death by Claudia.
Yeah.
And I get really stopped in my tracks. I think Tom is great. I hope there is another movie.
Yes.
I really do. But I have not been able to, I've not heard anything, and I've not been able to get Warner Brothers, who owns all of the books, to commit to anything or respond to anything. Now, Tom himself, I haven't heard from in 4 years. And
he's busy, Anne. He's very busy.
Well, Rosie, would you ask him?
I'll ask him now.
You know him very well.
I know him very well. I
would
see
you
him.
Ask him for me? Say, Anne would like to know.
And personally, I haven't brought up your name because I don't want to hurt his feelings and have him remember when you were coming out publicly in Variety every day saying, please don't hire my husband. I mean, Tom Cruise. Now, I've heard a rumor that you want Leonardo DiCaprio to play the new... Is this true, Anne?
Rosie, let's slow down. Slow down just a minute. Now, this movie, Interview with the Vampire, came out, and I flipped over Tom Cruise.
I know, and you wrote a very nice letter saying that you were wrong, which you were.
I took out a full-page ad in Variety.
Saying that you were wrong.
$8,000.
That you were wrong? That you were wrong?
Yes.
All right.
I said, I am wrong. I said, he has overcome the typecast problem. He is absolutely the vampire Lestat. He has done a magnificent job.
Actor.
Warner Brothers called up and said, a brilliant actor,
Thank you, Anne.
fantastic actor. Oh, he is a brilliant actor.
Yes, he is.
There's no question that the kid is a brilliant. I never thought that Tom Cruise wasn't a brilliant actor. I always loved him.
Always loved him.
Always.
All right, Anne,
I just didn't think he was the type for Lestat, and then he proved me wrong.
Right. And now you want Leonardo DiCaprio. Interesting. We're going to have to take a break, and I'll discuss this with you in private. And then we're going to come back, and you're going to pick your Oscar picks for our charity thing. And I know you're going to pick Titanic for everything because now that you want to kiss up to Leo. We'll be back with Anne Rice. Pandora is the book. Don't go away. All right, Anne, tonight, the Academy Awards. It's now time for you to play Oscar, Oscar, Oscar for charity, charity, charity. We're going to give $10,000 to your favorite charity if you should pick all three of these obscure categories correctly. Your favorite charity is? It's
Lazarus House in New Orleans. It's an AIDS shelter for people with AIDS.
Excellent. Come on out, David Oscarman.
And so happy you're here today. And just to let you know, I am the real Lestat.
That solves everything, Anne.
All right, here we go for best sound, Anne. Do you choose Air Force One, Con Air, Contact, LA Confidential, or Titanic with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Titanic.
What a surprise! Titanic with Leo. David, watch your sword. Watch your sword there. All right, be careful.
Right. Try and get a little higher in this category.
Yeah, all right. Best editing, Anne. Do you choose Air Force One along with Delta Burke? As Good as It Gets, Matthew Broderick's choice. Good Will Hunting, LA Confidential, Mr. Alder's favorite, or The Titanic with Leonardo DiCaprio, soon to be seen as Lestat.
The Titanic.
What a surprise! The Titanic! Get down there, David! Careful Roll with that sword, honey. Okay, and last but not least, best art direction. The Amazing Gattaca, which no one saw. Kundun, no one also saw that. Men in Black, funny, fine film. LA Confidential, or The Titanic with Leonardo DiCaprio, soon to be seen in The Vampire Chronicles.
The
Don't do it.
Titanic.
What a surprise! Get on down there, David! Get down there! Poor Matthew, you covered his face, but we allow you win. And it is always a delight to see you. It really is. And I will see you when the next book comes out, which is when?
Which is the fall, Armand, and I'm going to send you the manuscript.
You better.
Yes, I will. I will.
Hot
I
off the
promise.
press.
Hot off. I will send you the manuscript hot out of the computer. Yes.
Excellent. Anne Rice,
Absolutely.
you are a delight, not only to read, but to have here on my show. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.